Okay, in a previous video we saw that the main reason for organizations to build, implement or adopt an information system is to improve efficiency and effectiveness. And information systems are known to have the potential to fulfill this objective. But then again, what is the problem? Why don't we just install, implement or adopt an enterprise information system? The problem is that building, implementing, adopting information systems is a very difficult undertaking, as it involves significant organizational change at almost all levels. Failures are not exceptions, and in fact even common. So in this video I'll talk about the success rates of enterprise information system implementations and discuss about information systems and organizational change to give you a hint, the reason why it is not so easy. Okay, let's start. Now, how successful are we in managing information system building or implementation? Since 2010, a relatively well-known firm called Panorama Consulting performs annual surveys on the success rates of enterprise information system implementation projects. So I would like to show you the trends, the averages over the years. We can see that implementing enterprise information systems is getting a little bit cheaper, but it's still in the order of millions, obviously. So not that cheap. But what is more, let's say, striking here is the following: the percentage of projects that face cost overruns. On the average, 3 out of 5 projects cost more than initially planned. How long does it take? On the average, about 18 months or 1.5 years or so. But again, percentage of projects that face duration overruns is 60%. I mean, that is, again, at least 3 out of 4 or 5 projects, take longer than initially planned. And finally, about half of the firms that have implemented these systems think that they have received less than 50% of the benefits that they consider they will receive after implementing their systems. So, does not look good, does it? Now let's look at see another view from the same report. In this survey, firms indicated their implementation outcome in 3 levels. So any implementation is either a success or a failure, or let's say they are neutral about it. So what do you think? Oops, I gave the hint already. But what do you think about the success rate or the failure rate, for that matter? In fact, students are somehow overly pessimistic about these numbers, but yet. So anyway, here are the results. Here. Success rate, 42% of the projects are considered to be successful, meaning that 2 out of 5 are considered to be a successful project, meaning that they completed on time, delivered the quality and the scope that they initially planned for, and cost not more than what the initial plan was. Mind you that in such surveys the numbers can be a bit optimistic, as firms which had a bad experience with their implementation projects tend to not publicly announce it or enjoy going through such surveys. So failure rate is almost the failure rate is a little bit in fact usually less than the actual failure rates that happen in real life. Failure rate is almost 30%. Here, a reported failure rate is quite significant, very significant in fact. So how about the implementation costs? I will not go too much into details of this graphic, but it is, let's say, noteworthy that over 50% of the projects are over budget, and about half of it are over budget more than 25%. Okay, now that was the current global situation or the landscape. How about the status in the Netherlands? Now, a few years ago, an investigation report has been issued about the IT projects performed in governmental organizations of the Netherlands. Now, the document reports on the success of large projects, those with project budget of over 7.5 million euros. Large projects in governmental organizations of the Netherlands. Now, accordingly, the Dutch government here lost between 4 to 5 billion euros every year on failing IT or IS projects, essentially. Of these large projects, only 7% can be considered successful. Successful means, again, that they were finished on time, within budget, and with the features or functionalities with the quality that were initially planned for. 70% is considered as failure. Half of this, that's 35% of the entire project or the set, has never been used by the users. The other half produced unexpected results or was too expensive, took too long, and so on. So 5 billion euros every year. Now, those of you who know me a little bit would also know that I like putting such numbers in context, because I don't know you, but I haven't seen 5 billion euros altogether in a place, and it does not mean much if you don't know what we can do with it. So, okay, of course, as a government, you can do many things with this thing, like increasing the salaries of university professors and making university education completely free for anyone. But I would like to go a little bit, let's say, a little bit more crazy. And after all, you don't have 5 billion euros every day. So I did a little bit of Googling to see what I can do with this money. Here are some options. Now, with 1.5 billion of this 5 billion, you can buy the Solomon Islands. Yeah, it's somewhere in the Pacific, relatively close to Australia. Beautiful, beautiful place, particularly if you like tropical islands like me and if you like diving a lot. Okay, it's a little bit far away, but no worries, we have plenty of money to buy one of these. Just buy a few of these. This is Airbus A380. We can stuff all the students of this course, plus their beloved ones if they like, into one of these. And by the way, KLM doesn't have one of these, so who cares? Where will we stay? No worries again, we can buy just half billion, buy a few of these. I'm sure they have some campaigns like Twee halen één betalen type of. By the way, doing this Googling of what to do with 5 billion, now Google thinks that I'm a kind of hyper-reach tycoon of some sort, and the Google ads that I receive when navigating to normal sites have changed from some sport equipment at Volcom to islandsforsale.com or privatejets.com or exclusiveprivateislands.com. Now, joke aside, let's be a bit more sensible or reasonable, let's say, and perhaps think about investment, okay? How about this then? Of course, we need to party in the island as well. But anyway, how about this? Thinking about investment. Spend 4 billion and buy Barcelona Football Club. Not just the players, huh? the entire football club, the managers, the facilities, their stadium, Camp Nou. I would definitely be interested to have these players playing in the PSV stadium in every week or in every 2 weeks, particularly this year, and it's not going very well with the PSV, I think. Now, the good thing about all this thing is that one year you can buy Barcelona club, the other year you can do just the things that I just mentioned, a little bit crazy, because we are simply talking about 5 billion every year. That's how we can put that thing in context. Anyway, back to real life. The message is, after all these things, is IS implementation is difficult, failures are often. But then the question is still there in front of us, why is it so difficult? After all, we can all select an application from an app store, for instance, and install it in a few seconds in our mobile devices. Why can't organizations do that too for their enterprise systems? Very briefly, in short, because it's not an installation. It's an implementation. It's an implementation of an information systems with a lot of other components other than IT. And implemented information systems in a particular organization, in that sense, is a unique thing with all its components. That is the process, structure, people, and the IT tailored for that particular organization. And IS implementation is likely to change the building blocks of what makes an organization. Okay, let me explain. We can identify 3 levels of organizational change brought by the introduction of new IS or new IT: automate, informate, and transform. Let's look at them one by one. The first order change, automate, influences the components in the technical system. Okay. It occurs when a new IT is introduced in the organization, which modifies how an existing process is performed by people. You automate the process, and while doing so, it's likely that the process changes too. Okay, it's relatively the easiest change to manage. Even this is difficult, but it's the easiest when compared to the other ones that we'll discuss in a minute. Second order change, informate, influences mainly the people component. With this change, not only the manner in which the process is performed changes, but also the individuals who perform it are affected by the change. Either their role is modified, or different roles or different set of people is now involved in the IS. There are key challenges that need to be managed for this change to be successful, and we'll discuss about these challenges and critical success factors in later videos. But for now, we can list the challenge to overcome the tendency of people to change, or resistance of people to change. There are many approaches to address this, and providing appropriate training is just one of them. But again, we'll discuss about these things in other videos. Third order change, transform, influences the organizational structure component. And this is the most pervasive, this is the most radical or challenging level of organizational change. It includes first and second order changes that we have just discussed, while also causing disruptions in the organizational structure. Now, the interaction between the structure and technology is substantiated by a change in the way the organization selects, designs, uses, and manages IT technology. The interaction between the structure and the people generally result in a change in the form of a more flat organizational structures, for instance. The interaction between the organizational structure and the process typically happens in the form of a novel way of process accomplishment, or a new set of tasks, for instance. Just to give an example, consider the case of Wikipedia. It just transformed the entire structure of how the traditional encyclopedia, or the encyclopedia, is produced, how we access and use it. The structure that governs the development of Wikipedia is completely different than the structure that was used for the development of traditional encyclopedias. What are the challenges at this level? Plenty. But again, we'll discuss more about such challenges and success factors in a separate video. For now, I can at least mention that in order for this level to be successful, it requires significant managerial and executive involvement. That is, the executives must be there when significant decisions about changes are to be made. Okay, now let's sum up, because this video I think is getting longer and longer. Now, reiterating from previous videos. IS is not IT. Now I think that's clear. IS is a socio-technical system, and IT is a core component of modern IS, but there are other components of process, structure, and people. IS design or implementation is a difficult undertaking. The IS implementation results in an organizational change involving all components of IS. IT products should not be the point of departure, but rather the point of arrival of an information system design and implementation project. An organization strategy may be inspired by IT, but should not be driven by IT. IT is just a tool focused on information system as a whole. So in the upcoming videos, we'll focus more on the IT component of IS, the software itself, but for now, tot ziens!